في أكبر الكتب.
Hi and welcome. Today I would like to speak about Hugh Edward, a BBC TV presenter for the 10 o'clock news. He's been in a scandal. As you can see the title, it talk about the BBC, Edward and Jimmy. I put all three people, business together because it's something that happened already and it's happening again. And for the fact that it's continue, I want to know what the BBC is going to do about it. I would like to know why he was not sentenced to prison. He's supposed to get at least 2 years in prison, maximum, I think 2 to 5 years in prison, and he escaped prison. And mainly they say because it's his first offense, and also because of his mental problem. So I'm gonna read a couple of these statements and information about what happened. So he said the BBC presenter Hugh Edward at the center of a scandal allegation. So the BBC news anchor Hugh Edward has been named as a presenter at the art and the media storm involving serious allegations against inappropriate behavior. He's best known for presenting BBC News at 10. He has been suspended from his role while internal investigation take place. He also said report claimed that Edward has allegedly paid a young person for explicit image over a period of time. That means he has been doing it more than one time. I just wonder. You just wonder, why is this happening? Why are these people on a TV screen that we supposed to be trusting telling us information that we supposed to believe is true and is important, are violating young children? We have people over at TV that was grooming a young boy. And now we have another person on the BBC that is obtaining image. I'm going to share my screen on information about him. But let me continue read. The allegations quickly spread across social media, leading to wide speculation about the identity of the presenter. The wife came out and she released a statement. So this is what his wife said, Edward. Wife Vicky stated, Edward has been struggling with several mental issues, including serious depression, and has been hospitalized. She emphasized that the family is focused on Edward's recovery and requests privacy for this difficult time. I don't think you guys are having a difficult time because he caused this on himself, and I don't believe his mental issue is what caused him to take this image. I'm not downplaying someone's mental problem, but going through a depression cannot make you want to see young children. The police started an investigation against him, but they were not quickly going to charge him. Also, the BBC has launched an internal inquiry into whether Edward has breached any professional standard by the corporation. So let me share my screen quickly on Edward. Someone is speaking on what happened before I go any further.
Images of children after he was sent 41 illegal images on WhatsApp by Alex Williams, a convicted paedophile. The CPS have released a mugshot of 63-year-old Edwards, whose fall from grace has seen him go from one of the country's most well-known journalists to a convicted sex offender. But the sentence Edwards received today has caused some controversy, with many saying it is far too short, just 6 months. Moreover, the fact his sentence is suspended for 2 years means that providing he doesn't reoffend in that period, he won't see any jail time at all. Edwards has to now attend a program designed to stop him reoffending. The judge said that Edwards would have received 12 months in custody, as is standard for Category A image offences, but various elements of mitigation sort of affected this, brought that sentence down. Now, those mitigating factors included Edwards pleading guilty at the earliest possible point he could do so in July, and that the judge believes Edwards does not present a danger to children, that he believes Edwards can be rehabilitated, that he accepts Edwards' remorse is genuine, and that he accepts Edwards was suffering a mental health crisis. Now, when deciding on a sentence, the judge will have had to weigh to what extent Edwards actively solicited, though.
So, just hearing that because of his mental issue, he's not being sentenced in prison. I just don't understand why would they even think that it would be okay, because he pled guilty at first. So I'm gonna read this. And Edward presenter, as a presenter, was in question. He sparked a debate about the role of the media, the angling of such allegation, and the line between public interest and privacy. So we have to wonder, is it because he's in the public eye he was not sentenced to prison? So it said many has expressed sympathy for Edward's mental health struggle, calling for compassion as he seeks treatment. Mental health advocate also providing support in this crisis regarding of their public standing. The BBC, one of the world leading broadcaster, now face internal question about this angling of the situation. Edward has been one of the corporation's most recognizable face for decades. leading to some question about how the BBC will move forward in light of these reveal. So again, the BBC has been put on blast. Similar with the same, not even similar, it's the same situation. Yes. Yes. With Jimmy Savile it was worse. But for the same, we don't know how far it would have been going to be if he was not caught now. Because by obtaining explicit image of children young as 7, it's only a matter of time before someone do the act. We have someone on the ITV. I can't recall his name at this moment. So please don't don't. If you can remember his name, please put it in the comment section. We have someone on ITV who was having a young guy on ITV, and he was grooming that young guy. Not just grooming, in a relationship with that young guy for a couple years. And the question put is, why are these people on our screen are doing this crime? The one on the Edward has been on the BBC for years, decade. I've watched this man since I was 12. I've been watching him on BBC, really reading the news. Sometimes he'd even do the 6 o'clock news, not just the 10 o'clock, but also the 6 o'clock. So many young children, age 7, has grown up watching him on their TV. So for him to violate young children in this manner is disgraceful, and the BBC need to look at these people that they employed. I know they're trying to use the mental problem as the reason. Oh, it is why he could maybe, or why he committed this crime. I don't think it is. No, I don't believe it is. So, Edward Correa, he said he has been on the BBC for over 30 years. 30 years. That's a long time. 3 decades. So imagine how much young children have grown up watching him. He have covered major national and international event, from royal wedding and general election moment in Britain history. He's known for his calm present. He became a trusted source of BBC for millions of viewers. I'm one of them. I am one of the viewers that has been watching him, trusted him. And that also let we know that, you cannot see these people on TV and believe you can put your children in their hand. You cannot. You cannot. And that's why parents have to make sure they are definitely on when it comes to responsibility, we cannot make people on TV teach our kids. We have to be on with any information when it comes to our children. We cannot make the TV teach our kids about certain situation because of people like this. We cannot. We listen to the news every day, letting us know what's going on around the world. But knowing that you have people like this is telling you those information, make you wonder, how can you trust these information sometime? Or trust the person who's giving you those information? Or they could affect the information that they give. Because he could have give information about someone that is a young child. And would he have any sympathy for a young child that is being violated? Would he have any sympathy for that young person? I don't think he would, in my opinion, because he's willing to look at image of young children. So why would he feel any pain or feel any emotion for a child that is being sexual abused? Why would he feel for that person, that child? Why would he feel anything when he himself enjoy looking at image like that? He said next step, the BBC inquiry are focused in understanding the details, determine whether any professional misconduct occurred. While Edward continue receive medical treatment, is absent from the newsroom mark a significant moment for the BBC, which must narrate the response in sensitive and transparent manner. Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper. Gonna go a little bit deeper and go back in time, because this is not the first time, and the BBC have to be very mindful when they're doing the internal investigation. Mindful and start to be aware of the people that they employed or employee. Or the employee, they have to be mindful of their employees, because we don't know what these people are doing behind closed door while they're on our screen. So let me play a little bit of tune quickly while I start. Okay.
Car insurance can sometimes be a bit puzzling, and until it's solved,
A question and a further point of discussion about Hugh Edwards.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. All right.
Edwards. First of all, the question. A few people now have asked, why was he in the Magistrates' Court and not the Crown Court, where there's a more severe penalty? The simple answer to that is the Chief Magistrate kept the case. You see, the cases like this go through an allocation process whereby the Magistrates' Court will decide whether or not to accept jurisdiction, as we call it, i.e., does the case stay at the Magistrates' Court or does it get sent, is the term, to the Crown Court? That can be for a number of reasons. It can be the complexity of the case. It can be the likely sentence. It can be, whether the Magistrates' Court can indeed try the case. Obviously, the Magistrates' Court wouldn't try a murder case. And so in this case, the magistrates kept this case about Hugh Edwards. Maximum sentence could have been a maximum of 12 months. That is because there's a maximum at the moment, at least. There's been some to and fro in the past, but at the moment, there's a maximum of 6 months per offence and a maximum of 12 months with more than one offence combined. And of course, in this case, it was a 6-month suspended sentence. So that's the somewhat vague, I suppose, answer to that question, is that the Magistrate Court kept this case and did not send it to the Crown Court. He could have elected Crown Court if he was standing trial, but obviously he pleaded to the offences. Now, the other comment for discussion, really, is that there is no real punitive element to this sentence. Now, as an interesting point of trivia, above the Old Bailey, there's an inscription which says, "Defend the children of the poor and punish the wrongdoer." So there is essentially supposed to be a punitive, a punishment element to these sentences, which is designed as the deterrent, as many people have obviously seen with people going to prison for what they post on Facebook to incite violence and so on. They've been sent to prison for those things as a deterrent to prevent other people from doing so. But let's look for a moment and analyze this. Now, once again, this was 12 months for one offence, 4 months for another, 2 months for another to run concurrently. However, taking the mitigation into account, reduced to 9 months, applying credit, reducing further 3 months to 6 months, and then suspended. So one might argue that a suspended sentence is a punitive sentence, but it isn't in the sense that he didn't actually go to prison. Now, you might have noticed as well this in the sentencing remarks regarding mitigation. It says, "I'm of the firm view that the combination of being forced to confront your wrongdoing in a very public way, you're seeking your professional help, and the supportive blanket which that and the input of probation will provide within the suspended prison sentence with requirements will rehabilitate you and thus strike a balance between public protection and rehabilitation." And then it says, "Whilst grateful for the report and understand the logic, I disagree with the author of the report. I don't consider that a structured program is necessary," etc. And then went on to suspend this sentence. Consequences of breach, and even discussing a harm prevention order, deciding ultimately that it's not necessary, and having regard to the Sentencing Council guidelines and ancillary orders, and an order made alongside any primary sentence.
Okay. You guys have heard that. He did not go to the criminal court. Why he did not go to the criminal? Why did not? I don't understand. I do not understand why they did not put it to that, because he said protect the children, the poor children, and punish the wrongdoers. He is wrong. Yes, he suffered from mental issue, but shouldn't he still go to prison at least for 6 months? At least for 6 months, you know? I don't have no sympathy for him. I don't. And I hope the BBC do not employ him again, because that behavior cannot be accepted. No, it cannot be. So we have another person that we are very, very aware of. That also was a very important figurehead in the BBC. And we are aware of him as Jimmy. This man has been going to hospital, saying that he loves children and he's there to support them and be their friend. Well, until later on his victim came out. And that's why we have to really look at the BBC and let's hope that this time they gonna investigate properly and they are not going to let the offenders go. So I'm gonna play this. Who this man was.
Hugh Edwards and Jimmy Savile are two distinct figures associated with the BBC, but they are involved in very different situations. Jimmy Savile was a famous British TV presenter and radio DJ, known for his work on programs like Top of the Pops and Jim'll Fix It. After his death in 2011, numerous allegations of sexual abuse emerged, revealing that Savile had exploited his public persona to commit serious crimes over several decades. A police investigation known as Operation U-Tree uncovered hundreds of cases of sexual abuse committed by Savile, with victims including children and vulnerable adults. The scandal led to public outrage, particularly since many of his actions had taken place while he was working for the BBC. The revelations caused a significant crisis for the BBC as it was accused of turning a blind eye to Savile's predatory.
Okay. Again. Another one. But this one was back then. Somehow it's different. I don't believe so. I'm gonna go on here. I'm gonna share my screen again. And I'm gonna let you see why this has something to do with the BBC and what action they need to do. Let's see. Let's listen here.
Endless, believe me. I just want to make a film of it. On film, I'd like to kill Jimmy.
I do not condone the word that is said. I'm only replaying this video out of research.
Savile, I think he's a hypocrite. Well, I write, I bet he's into all kinds of seediness that we don't know about, but not allowed to talk about. I know some rumours. I bet none of this will be allowed out.
I should imagine libelous stuff will be allowed out.
Nothing I said is liable.
So you see, people are trying to expose Jimmy for many years. The BBC were not taking him serious. So how can we trust that they are going to take Hugh Edward serious with his crime? How do we know? The BBC have to do better. They have to. Let me play a little bit more.
Behavior. The Savile case prompted widespread reflection on safeguarding practices within institutions like the BBC and the broader entertainment industry. Hugh Edwards, on the other hand, is a respected British journalist and newsreader for the BBC, best known for presenting the BBC's flagship news program, BBC News at 10. In 2023, Edwards was named in connection to a high-profile scandal when allegations surfaced that he had paid a young person for explicit images.
Sorry for the sound at the background.
The allegations came to light through a report in The Sun, and the BBC quickly suspended him while the matter was investigated. However,
Okay. So the BBC, I guess this time, they did respond correctly by suspending him. That is good. That is good, but I hope that he won't return because he's not going to prison. So I just want to know what they're gonna do since he's not gonna be ending up in prison for what he have done. And I hope he learned from this, and for the fact that this is now another person on TV. As I said, I can't recall the name of the one on ITV as yet. I forgot his name, and I probably should check as well quickly. You know, I who have done it and got exposed, and now just what, a year ago, and now another one on TV. He's been exposed. That been on TV for so long, so many years.
of media reporting, privacy, and the mental health of public figures. Key differences. Criminal behavior. Jimmy Savile was posthumously revealed to be a serial sex offender and abuser, with overwhelming evidence of his crimes over decades. In contrast, no criminal charges were brought against Hugh Edwards after the investigation.
None.
Public perception. Savile's legacy has been permanently tarnished by the horrifying revelations of his abuse. Edwards' situation was more about personal behavior and mental health, and it triggered discussions about how the media should handle such sensitive situations, especially when mental health is involved.
So now, Jimmy was not found guilty or charged. So we do not know if he would have used the same card of saying he had suffered from mental issue. I am not saying that Edward does not have a mental issue. I'm not saying that. In my opinion, I'm saying, even though the BBC act quickly this time, I'm just saying, I hope he's not going to return on our screen again. Because Jimmy were not charged or arrested. So, for that reason, we don't know what he would have said. He could have said the same thing, that because of his mental problem or issue, he was not fit to stand trial. Even though I know that his one is way different from Edward. Edward was only image. His one was actually doing the physical image and everything involved in around abusing and exploring young children. But remember, Edward has been caught very early. Very, very early he has been caught. So we do not know how far he would have taken advantage of children. We do not know how far he would have go to. So for that reason, I am just hoping that the BBC really take this thing serious, and not because of his mental issue, they should give him a pass. I just want to find out who's on. Who on ITV had the same, I forgot because I cannot recall the name. So let me find out who he was quickly. I guess he was a major, and I mean big, huge figure. See, I can't find his name. Let me play some tune while I look into this. You know, this is. Well, you know what, people, I am not gonna hold up your time any longer. I cannot. He was on this morning. His name is not coming up. I don't know if they wipe him off the internet. I don't know. His name is not coming up, and I can't remember his name at all because I used to watch him a lot. But you know, I haven't watched ITV in over 2 years, so I cannot really remember his name right now. So I don't know what happened. Why his name is not coming up? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know why his name is not coming up. But I know he was on something this morning. I did a video about it, but I would have to go back into my videos, and then this would take too long, and I'm pausing too much. So I am not going to continue and let the video get any longer. So I'm just gonna thank you guys. Whoever watched my video, please like and subscribe. I am bringing more stories, more information, more content. I'm not just about celebrity news. I am about everything that is viral, that is important to the people. Wherever you are, New York, America, Jamaica, or in the UK, all around Europe, it doesn't matter. Please like and subscribe to my video because more content is coming. And it's not just about celebrity. I am about everything that is viral to we, the people. Thank you. Bye.